bought the Zurich code reader today. We're going to check out the inventory, so what vehicles are available this time of year. The colder weather is creeping in, less and less trade-ins at these dealerships, and this particular auction is where the used car dealerships bring their trade-ins to get rid of them, get rid of the inventory, lighten up the load. So plenty of these will have check engine lights, and I love to go through with the Zurich 15s, find out what's wrong with those that have the check engine lights, see what type of vehicles they're trying to push through the auction. Some do and some don't have the check engine lights. I'd say about maybe 15 to 20% will have the check engine light. And it's important to have this tool. Doesn't matter really what you do. A hobby like mine where you're going through the auto auctions, personal sales, going to car lots, you should bring one with. And even if it doesn't have the light, hook it up, and there will be some codes in there that are permanent that cannot be wiped out or cleared or erased. And you can find out what you're getting yourself into. Let's get started today, see what we can find, see what's wrong with it. Okay, the first victim is going to be a very common car out there today. Still, a 2010 Chrysler Town & Country. Dodge Caravan also falls into this category. Seems like it's in decent shape. I'll have to check and see what the miles are. Tires aren't too bad. And it's inspected until, oh, it is out of inspection now. So let's hop on inside. Shut the door to get rid of that light. We're gonna fire it up, and then we'll hook up the code reader, because I believe we are greeted with the check engine light on this one. Everything will go away except for that. Yes, so we do have the port just hanging down here, so it's probably been something that's been a popular area to plug into, so this thing probably has quite a history. Let's see what we got. The code for Chrysler P0733 is a transmission control module, and it monitors input and output through shaft speeds. And if these speeds do not match the expected ratio for each gear, you could have slippage and bucking and rough shifting. So this is very important. It could be that this thing has worn clutch packs. 3 to 4 clutch discs. That's a transmission outfix and quite expensive. Could have been caused by low or burnt transmission fluid overheating, solenoid packs, valve body wear, software issues, who knows, but it's not going to be cheap. Run like hell from this one. That's why this tool is so important. Another thing you could do, and I'm not going to do this for every car, but just show you with this example, is run a test on every single module in the vehicle, bumper to bumper. And as you can see, there are modules that are having problems all over the place. Doors, engine control modules, power modules. And you can run this and find out what type of repairs may be needed for each vehicle, and that'll save you some bucks. All right, the next one up is a 2012 Mini Cooper. Kind of a unique shape for the Cooper, Mini Cooper S. Looks like a fun little thing. I'm not a big fan. I wouldn't normally bid on something like this, but inspected till next year. So somebody loved this thing. Let's fire it up, and you will see that we are greeted with a check engine light. It does not go out, so let's find out what's wrong with this one. I'm not very familiar mechanically with these at all, so I'm anxious to see what a common problem would be on these. I think I mentioned this on the last walkthrough we did for check engine lights. The most common issue I find is for the emissions, and that's going to be a catalytic converter that's not performing correctly or is clogged, or the 4 sensors that surround the converters. There's one sensor before, one sensor after. They're O2 sensors, and any one of those things can trigger the check engine light, and it's up to you to find out which one it is. But it's the most common event that triggers a check engine light on vehicles so far. Let's continue and see what's wrong with the Cooper here. Here's another one that makes me nervous, because this code here is very common in the Minis, and that's 2007 through the 13. And the code means that your electronically controlled thermostat is failing, maybe due to low voltage, I don't know. But if it's failing, then the car could be overheating, and if there's overheating, there could be head gasket problems. When I see these codes, some of these codes, guys, I run like hell from some of these vehicles, because a simple problem and a simple code can lead to serious and expensive issues down the road. Okay, next up is going to be an 06 VW Beetle. Well, not a fan of that color at all. I don't like Volkswagens, period, and especially a Beetle, but I thought you guys would find this interesting, because as soon as you get in, you have a footwell on the passenger side full of parts. And the first thing I see is oxygen sensor. So I'm guessing that this has a check engine light, and without even hooking up the code reader, it's probably going to have to deal with maybe a failing catalytic converter or one of the O2 sensors. Let's see though, I could be wrong. Fire it up. Everything goes away except for the check engine light, which is there to greet us and stay. So let's hook it up and see what's wrong. One of the codes that's blaring is the P0300 on a VW Beetle. That is common, both with the 2.0, the 1.8, and the 2.5 engines. And that means that a misfire was detected in more than one cylinder, or it could not detect which cylinder was misfiring. Common issues: ignition coil pack, bad spark plugs, vacuum leaks, map sensors, fuel delivery issues, low compression. Could be many, but the symptoms you notice when the vehicle's running might point you in the right direction, but having a tool like this will get you started. Very, very important. So they were trying everything, and this is what an O2 sensor looks like. It screws right into the pipe right before the catalytic converter, and then there's one right after on bank 1 and 2, meaning both sides. And well, maybe that silenced that issue, but it looks like there's many, many more. Nothing really to report on the Z4. I will be keeping my eye on that. Those are fun little toys. But the 08 Chrysler 200 is definitely having some issues. It's in, I guess, fair condition. The interior is pretty sad. Yikes. And judging by the way the interior was taken care of, there's no surprise that there's a check engine light. So let's hook up and find out what's wrong with the Chrysler. These have horrible running gear, engine and transmission, but let's see. Let's take a look. This thing is not happy, and it seems to all deal with the evap, a small system leak. Now, this could be something simple, like a loose or a bad gas cap. So you can start off cheap and always start with the smallest thing and work your way up. Could also mean brittle and broken evap hoses, faulty purge valve, a charcoal canister crack, leak in the fuel tank. And the symptoms that lead up to this, along with the codes, can point you and pinpoint the problem. All right, found another one with the check engine light. This one looks like it's in great shape. It's inspected until next year. 09 GMC Terrain. Looks like it was well taken care of. On the outside, anyway. Oh, nice. Very nice. Good. Let's fire this one up. We're looking at how many miles? How many miles? Come on. Well, the StabiliTrak light, and we have a check engine light. And as we look down, this is something that is very rarely done, where somebody actually leaves a note and gives you an indication of what may be wrong with it. Needs speed sensors, ABS traction control, lights off, and then they actually put another one on. Cam sensor, cam position sensor probably. Well, let's hook up and find out and see what the Zurich says. This code here is pointing towards the crankshaft position sensor, and that is a very common problem as well. And it's extremely common. And it can point to, most of the time, the timing chain stretch, which is a problem with this motor, and is why I tell you to stay away from any GMC or Chevy with the 2.4 or the 3.6 liter. Just absolute garbage, guys. All right, that's going to do it for this video. We pretty much have all the cars with the check engine lights. Again, a couple more of the catalytic converter, oxygen sensor, check engine light codes mixed in with quite a variety today. So it was kind of neat to see what else, like this one I'm sitting in is the one with the speed sensor. Yeah, I mean, this is very important to have a tool like this. You don't have to have mine. I'm not trying to sell this one here. I'm trying to sell a unit that will help you. You have the most important tool in your pocket already, and that's the phone here. So they also have some that you just plug into the port and it will communicate Bluetooth with your phone and give you just as good readings and parameters and things to check. Very important to see what you're getting into. Let me know down in the comment section. Do you have something like this? What do you have? Share it with all of us. I don't care what unit you have. This one works great for me, and I'm still learning to use it. Let us know what you have and how it performs for you, and I'll catch you in the next video.